Hello and welcome back to Skyrim with me, Chris, otherwise known as Silent8472. I'm going to open this episode slightly differently and effectively say if you have been enjoying the content, because this is episode 3 now, likes, comments, subscriptions, they're all great. They serve two purposes. First, they let me know that you want this to keep going, and second, they also help the algorithm get this in front of other people, which let them enjoy it as well. So, kicking off with that this week, if you could just bear that in mind, please, that'd be appreciated, because I can see, actually, weirdly, about half of the people that are watching this aren't subscribed, so odd little stat. If you feel I've earned it, please feel free, but no pressure. But the likes and the comments do certainly help, and that's hopefully not quite so intensive. Right, however, last episode we finished off Blackfall's Barrel. We managed to get the Golden Claw back, and we gave it back to, I've forgotten his name, but the guy that runs the Riverwood Trader, which means our quest this at the moment is before the storm. We need to go and talk to the Isle of Whiterun, so we're going to start heading off that way now. So yeah, I've actually been quite enjoying this, and it's been refreshing because it's making me look at Skyrim in a different way, having to sort of voice and talk it through as I'm sort of playing. It's a little bit different. I've never really had to... Oh, hello. You don't normally appear this early. I've never really had to do that before, so it's a bit different. It's making me look at it a different way, which I'm genuinely quite enjoying. Like I said, I'm going to try and sort of give this to you as a reasonably unedited playthrough. So those of you that have sort of watched some of the other videos may have noticed that I don't actually do many sort of cuts and edits or shortenings. I just let things go as they do. Only cut if I need to step out the game, like Skyrim's done a couple of times, or it did last episode where it messed up the hotkeys, and it's, like I said, it's something that's been happening with, well, since I've been modding Skyrim, where it just randomly reassigns the keys, and so I lose control, and the only way I found to fix it is to exit and restart the game. But why is there a giant here? Yeah, I'm not going near him. Does immersive creature... Does immersive... No, I haven't got immersive creatures installed. I took that off for this. I've got immersive citizens to give, like, the people around the different towns, like, something to do during their downtime, but I can't think of anything that I've got that would put a giant there, or a random cow here, although I did see that on someone's unmodded playthrough. Very odd. So yes, I could have cut across country, but it's normally better to do the roads. Certainly for this kind of playthrough, because although it may take me slightly longer, it does mean that in theory more interesting things might happen, because all of the random events that can occur do occur on the open road. So I'm going to stick to those as much as I can. I'm not going to buy a horse. I've thought about that. I get them killed too often, so until I can get a very specific horse later on, I'm probably not going to be using horses anyway. But again, this is part of the reason I lent into not wanting to do a survival playthrough, so I can quick travel when I need to. This giant I will get involved with.
Fight with me.
Right,
I
arrow.
have stories to tell.
So there we have.
If you're worth anything in a
You
fight.
be strong. Come to your Vasker and be a companion.
These people. Interesting, and we've got one hiding over here.
You handle yourself well. You could make for a decent shield sister.
What's the shield sister?
An outsider, eh? Never heard of the Companions? An order of warriors. We are brothers and sisters in honor. And we show up to solve problems if the coin is good enough.
Can I join you?
Not for me to say. You'll have to talk to Kodlak Whitemane up in Jorvaskar. The old man's got a good sense for people. He can look in your eyes and tell your worth. If you go to him, good luck.
So, yeah, these guys are the companions, who are effectively Skyrim's version of the warrior guild for older versions of the Elder Scrolls. And you can't really avoid them because they're thrown right in your face right there, and they force you into a conversation. They were the first ones I did. The other guilds do come up, but they're not thrown in your face quite that way.
Izmir, it's true. A jester, funny suit and all. Just north, by the Lauria's farm. Fool had a coffin in a cart with a broken wheel. I'd like to see him laugh his way out of that.
Well, sounds like you've had quite the journey, Uthgerd. But you were gone longer than usual. I got to thinking maybe you weren't coming back.
You sound like my ma. Figured I was lying dead in a field somewhere, is that it?
Thought did cross my mind, yeah. War brewing, talk of a riot in Helgen, having out jesters. Skyrim's gone mad, girl. You need to be careful out there.
Careful, huh? Thanks, Skullvar. I'll remember that. Yeah, right.
I've never sat and listened to that all the way through. Didn't know she was like that sarcastic with it. Again, you might know some of the notice a couple of the bits around Whiterun look a little different, but again, it's because I've got a yeah, some of the texture mods, but I have also got a slightly different Whiterun mod, so it retextures and remaps everything inside Whiterun to make it look a bit nicer, and it touches up some of the bits outside as well. So we are nearly there. Whiterun, the jewel of Skyrim. First big city you come to, and it kind of becomes a centre point for everything.
Halt! City's closed with the dragons about. Official business only.
Now you've got a few options here you can use. You always want to do the Persuade. I don't think the Intimidate works, but the Persuade does because it will buff up your speech because you've tried to persuade him and you succeed.
Fine. But we'll be keeping an eye on you.
That's the only one I know is guaranteed to pass. Other ones, it's then dependent on what your speech skill is. But that's always worth taking as a free perk because I've never seen that one fail. No, genuinely, I don't think I ever have. And seeing as all characters start basically the same, in fact, I think you can only get a buff to speech. You can't start on a lower speech than I am. You should be able to pass it whatever happens. And here we go, Whiterun. At 20 to 3 in the morning. You can see I've got the in-game clock in the top left. Just one of the
We'll
user
pay
interface
whatever
mods
it
I've got.
takes, but we must have more swords for the Imperial soldiers.
I just can't fill an order that size on my own. Why don't you swallow that stubborn pride of yours and ask Yorland Greymane for help?
I'd sooner bend my knee to Ulfric's Stormcloak. Besides, Greymane would never make steel for the Legion.
Have it your way. I'll take the job, but don't expect a miracle.
Okay, so that's a little bit of the tensions that are running around here, because there's the civil war going on. We know that right from the beginning, where, you know, the Imperials nearly took our heads off with the Stormcloaks that happened to be with us. Not a lot to see at the moment because it's night time, most of the shops are shut. But it's a very pretty city. Very nicely laid out. Companions are up there, and we'll be visiting them later. Not sure if we'll make it in this episode, but we certainly will be, because it's an interesting quest, and they do give a, I'm going to say semi-permanent perk that I do want to get, because it just makes some things easier. So here we go into Dragon's Reach, which is basically the Jarl's Palace of Whiterun. But it's odd, it's not called a palace, it's just Dragon's Reach. And again, like I said, I've got the interior a bit different. In the base game, you don't have these armoured statues everywhere. But it just makes it a little bit more regal. You also don't have that skeleton.
I only counsel caution. We cannot afford to act rashly in times like these.
What would you have me do then?
What's the meaning of this interruption? Jarl Balgrup is not receiving visitors.
I have news from Helgen about the dragon attack.
Well, that explains why the guards let you in.
Who's this?
Come on then. The Jarl will want to speak to you personally.
So, you were at Helgen. You saw this dragon with your own eyes?
And I can never resist this, it's too entertaining as a witty retort. Yes, I had a great view while the Imperials were trying to cut off my head.
Really? You're certainly... forthright about your criminal past. But it's none of my concern who the Imperials want to execute, especially now. What I want to know is, what exactly happened at Helgen?
A dragon destroyed Helgen, and last I saw it was heading this way.
By Ysmir, Irileth was right! What do you say now, Proventus? Shall we continue to trust in the strength of our walls? Against the dragon?
My lord, we should send troops to Riverwood at once. It's in the most immediate danger. If that dragon is lurking in the mountains...
The Jarl of Falkreath will view that as a provocation. He'll assume we're preparing to join Ulfric's side and attack him. We should not...
Enough! I'll not stand idly by while the dragon burns my hold and
Random
slaughters my
sliding he
people.
was doing there.
Irileth, send a detachment to Riverwood at once.
Yes, my Jarl.
If you'll excuse me, I'll return to my duties.
That would be best. Well done. You sought me out on your own initiative. You've done Whiterun a service, and I won't forget it. Here, take this as a small token of my esteem. There is another thing you could do for me. Suitable for someone of your particular talents, perhaps. Come, let's go find Farengar, my court wizard. He's been looking into a matter related to these dragons and rumors of dragons.
Okay, I'm actually really curious about that armor he gave us. Was it better than what we've got? So we've got Imperial armor. Studded light, it's light armor. Not quite as good. I thought because it's got the same name, it's just studded, it might be better. Now, I don't know if we've used enough magic to get an extra line out of Farengar here.
Come to Dragon's Reach to discuss the ongoing hostilities, like the rest of the great warriors?
The Jarl said you had a project you needed help with.
What? Project? You think you could help me? I really don't think so.
Yep, we've done enough. Look out, you're about to step on your own shock rune.
What? I never even cast it. Ah, I see. You have some knowledge of the higher art. Please forgive my earlier rudeness. I'm so often interrupted by visitors wandering in, I can occasionally become quite savage.
Bursting into his bedroom.
Now, what did you say you wanted?
The Jarl said you had a project you needed help with.
Ah, indeed? The Jarl. Oh yes, he must be referring to my research into the dragons. Yes, I could use someone to fetch something for me. Well, when I say fetch, I really mean delve into a dangerous ruin in search of an ancient stone tablet that may or may not actually be there.
Alright. Where am I going and what am I fetching?
Straight to the point, eh? No need for tedious hows and whys. I like that. Leave those details to your betters, am I right?
That's a bit rude.
Learned of a certain stone tablet said to be housed in Bleak Falls Barrow. A dragon stone, said to contain a map of dragon burial sites. Go to Bleak Falls Barrow, find this tablet, no doubt interred in the main chamber, and bring it to me. Simplicity itself.
Oh, you mean this old stone? You know, the one we got last episode.
Ah, the dragon stone of Bleak Falls Barrow. You already found it. You are cut from a different cloth than the usual brutes the Jarl foists on me.
So how about my reward?
You'll have to see the Jarl about that, maybe his steward Avenici. I'm sure one of them will pay you appropriately.
Okay. So I then want to do some enchanting at that point. Have we got anything we can break down? No, because we're using this ancient sword of chills and we're using our ring of minor magicka. So what you do is you have enchantments, you pick your item, and then you can pick your enchantment and what soul gem you're using. Now we don't know any enchantments, and you learn them by breaking down what you've already got. However, you might be able to hear in the background,
I'd take this a
We're
bit
being
more
summoned.
seriously if I were you. If a dragon decides to attack Whiterun, I don't know if we can stop it. Let's go.
So, Irileth tells me you came from the Western Watchtower?
Yes, my lord.
Tell him what you told me about the dragon.
Oh, that's right. We saw it coming from the south. It was fast. Faster than anything I've ever seen.
What did it do? Is it attacking the Watchtower?
No, my lord. It was just circling overhead when I left. I never ran so fast in my life. I thought it would come after me, for sure.
Good work, son. We'll take it from here. Head down to the barracks for some food and rest. You've earned it. Irileth, you'd better gather some guardsmen and get down there.
I've already ordered my men to muster near the main gate.
Good. Don't fail me. There's no time to stand on ceremony, my friend. I need your help again. I want you to go with Irileth and help her fight this dragon. You survived Helgen, so you have more experience with dragons than anyone else here. But I haven't forgotten the service you did for me in retrieving the Dragon Stone for Farengar. As a token of my esteem, I have instructed Avenici that you are now permitted to purchase property in the city. And please, accept this gift from my personal armory.
What are we getting this time? Hide boots of lifting. See, that's really useful. Extra carry capacity, but it's on light armor again, so... This time, I am going to illustrate how we break down an enchantment, because I want to learn that enchantment, so I can put it on something that I'm actually going to wear. So, we come over to our enchanter. We pick our boots. Are you sure you want to destroy it and learn the effects? Yes. So our enchanting goes up from that, and also now you can see we've got an enchantment we can try and put onto something. The size of the soul gem and the soul that you use with it will actually determine how strong your enchantment is, as well as the perks and buffs that you can pick through levelling up to put there. But that's all we want for that for the moment. So we are heading out this way to fight a dragon, because in the Jarl's eyes, because we survived somewhere being burnt to the ground by running while our hands were tied together, that makes us, you know, the most qualified person to go out and fight a dragon. I was never quite sure of the logic there. We're an escaped prisoner. We didn't actually fight the dragon, we legged it, but that apparently makes us more qualified than anyone else to go and fight the dragon. I know, it's baffling to me. Actually, there was one thing I did want to do. I need to put my Ancestor's Wrath power on, and I also want to double check. Controls, that's what I want. Shell power, I have got that on my right, because I've got a multi-button mouse, so it's one that I can grab with my thumb quite easily, so I just wanted to make sure I still had that set up. So in the meantime, let's head out. So one of the other reasons I was looking at changing my mind in last episode and becoming a bit of a hybrid spellcaster is because where I've got all of the Creation Club and all the extra anniversary content, there are basically they have split it, so there's a lot of spells and there's a lot of weapons, and if I'm going to try and do this as a bit of a playthrough to showcase things off and hopefully get you guys all interested and enjoying what you're seeing and seeing access to all that we've got, I kind of need to be able to use both sides of it, because if I went full warrior I'd miss out on showing off the spells that they've put in that aren't in the base game, and likewise I'd get some of the extra weapons, but I wouldn't actually be able to use or showcase them, and they did put a lot of extra weapons in on the Creation Club. Now we're here but they're not, so we've got to wait for them. Here they
No
are.
signs of any dragon right now, but it sure looks like he's been here. I know it looks bad, but we've got to figure out what happened, and if that dragon is still skulking around somewhere. Spread out and look for survivors.
That's one thing I'm going to do. I'm actually going to have sparks there instead of flames, because, you know, we can guess he breathes fire. If he breathes fire, he's probably not going to take that much damage from fire. So sparks, as a different spell, I become the Emperor. You know, the Star Wars Emperor. Yes, I know he's Palpatine, but...
No, get back. It's still here somewhere. Rocky and Todd just got grabbed when they tried to make a run for it.
Guardsmen, what happened here? Where's this dragon? Quickly now!
I don't know. Kinneret, save us. Here he comes again.
Here he comes! Find
There he is.
and make every arrow count!
So here comes our first dragon fight. Need him to get a bit closer for Sparks to be able to get him. This is such an odd fight because he just winds up circling a lot of the time and the guards wind up doing a lot of the work because I find I'm just chasing my tail all the time trying to get to him otherwise. Healing over there, patch yourselves up. Sparks back. Back over here. Oh, I did not expect that. Okay, that was pushing it a lot closer than I expected. Okay, well, let's not hide too much. Let's get, you know, let's pretend we've got a drinking problem. There we go, got him. No. Okay. And here, this is impressive the first time you see this. So we now have our first shout, which, if I go to magic, we have our shout here, which we're going to favourite, and we're going to equip that, and then we're going to want Ancestor's Wrath there, just as a favourite as well. So, let's deal with that level up. Cut the health a bit fine there. Right, what do I have on Destruction now? Apprentice, and I'm not using either of those yet. A conjuration last time for reasons that I will get into. Heavy armor we've taken. One-handed. Let's increase our one-handed damage, so actually using swords is more useful. So, oh, any gold on you? Don't mind me, I'm just looting the corpses of your fallen comrades. Hello, anyone want to talk? You're all staring at me.
I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm glad you're on our side.
That was the
I can't
scariest
believe
fight
it.
I've ever been in.
You're
And I've been
Dragonborn.
Dragonborn? What do you mean?
In the very oldest tales, back from when there were still dragons in Skyrim, the Dragonborn would slay dragons and steal their power. That's what you did, isn't it? Absorb the dragon's power.
I think you may be right.
There's only one way to find out. Try to shout. According to the old legends, only the Dragonborn can shout without training, the way the dragons do.
Okay, it's about the only time you get away with this.
Ah, that's right. My grandfather used to tell stories about the Dragonborn. Those born with the dragon blood in them. Like old Tiber Septim himself.
I've never heard of Tiber Septim killing any dragons.
There weren't any dragons then, idiot. They're just coming back now for the first time in forever. But the old tales tell of the Dragonborn who could kill dragons and steal their power. You must be one.
What do you say, Irleth? You're being awfully quiet. Come on, Irleth. Tell us. Do you believe in this Dragonborn business?
Some of you would be better off keeping quiet than flapping your gums on matters you don't know anything about. Here's a dead dragon, and that's something I definitely understand. Now we know we can kill them. But I don't need some mythical Dragonborn. Someone who can put down a dragon is more than enough for me.
You wouldn't understand, Housecar. You ain't a Nord.
I've been all across Tamriel. I've seen plenty of things just as outlandish as this. I'd advise you all to trust in the strength of your sword arm over tales and legends.
That was shouting, what you just did. Must be. You really are Dragonborn, then.
Okay, I think they've had all their dialogue there. Irileth is very switched on for that. Go there. Not worried about that. We'll take the dragon bones and scales. And then, yeah, I think at that point we will head back to Whiterun. You know, there's no point in running all the way back there. I have fast travel. But this is kind of what the crux of the game is all around, about us being the Dragonborn, which, for those that have played it before, you know all of that, but it's kind of the thing in Elder Scrolls. You normally wind up being some important hero who is
I've been
fated or
looking for you.
destined.
Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
Courier spoiled that. Screen shaking and that shout. Find more about what that means in a bit, but what did the courier give us? Normally letters. Anonymous letter. Someone please help. A group of necromancers are experimenting with conjuring zombies. Ah, so this is some of the Creation Cop content I've not done. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Right, let's head. So there's a few more people in the city
I'm here to buy food.
centre. Now it's daytime. Okay, we'll run back up to Dragon's Reach and we'll let the Jarl know what happened. You know, hopefully he'll give us some better equipment, because so far the 2 bits he's given us are a bit naff and don't really fit us, which is odd, because normally it reads your perks and gives you something that's relevant. So because we took heavy armour, I'm surprised it didn't give us heavy armour, and both times it's given us light.
Good. You're finally here. The Jarl's been waiting for you.
So what happened at the watchtower? Was the dragon there?
The watchtower was destroyed, but we killed the dragon.
I knew I could count on Irileth, but there must be more to it than that.
Turns out it may be something called Dragonborn.
Dragonborn? What do you know about the Dragonborn?
When the dragon died, I absorbed some kind of power from it.
So it's true. The Greybeards really were summoning you.
The Greybeards?
Masters of the Way of the Voice. They live in seclusion high on the slopes of the throat of the world.
And what do these Greybeards want with me?
The Dragonborn is said to be uniquely gifted in the voice, the ability to focus your vital essence into a thume or shout. If you really are Dragonborn, they can teach you how to use your gift. The Greybeards.
Didn't you hear the thundering sound as you returned to Whiterun? That was the voice of the Greybeards, summoning you to High Hrothgar. This hasn't happened in centuries, at least. Not since Tiber Septim himself was summoned when he was still Talos of Atmora.
Brungar, calm yourself. What does any of this Nord nonsense have to do with our friend here? Capable as she may be, I don't see any signs of her being this, what, Dragonborn.
Nord nonsense? Why, you puffed up ignorant. These are our sacred traditions that go back to the founding of the First Empire.
Brongar, don't be so hard on Avenici.
I meant no disrespect, of course. It's just that, what do these Greybeards want with her?
That's the Greybeards' business, not ours. Whatever happened when you killed that dragon, it revealed something in you, and the Greybeards heard it. If they think you're Dragonborn, Who are we to argue? You'd better get up to High Hrothgar immediately. There's no refusing the summons of the Greybeards. It's a tremendous honor. I envy you, you know. To climb the 7,000 steps again. I made the pilgrimage once. Did you know that? High Hrothgar is a very peaceful place. Very disconnected from the troubles of this world. I wonder that the Greybeards even notice what's going on down here. They haven't seemed to care before. No matter. Go to High Hrothgar. Learn what the Greybeards can teach you. You've done a great service for me and my city, Dragonborn. By my right as Jarl, I name you Thane of Whiterun. It's the greatest honor that's within my power to grant. I assign you Lydia as a personal housecarl, and this weapon from my armory to serve as your badge of office. I'll also notify my guards of your new title. Wouldn't want them to think you're part of the common rabble, now would we? We are honored to have you as Thane of our city, Dragonborn. Back to business, Proventus. We still have a city to defend.
Yes, my lord.
Right, okay, so just have a quick look at that weapon he gave us. He gave us the Axe of Whiterun, which is rather generic, 10 points of magic damage, so it just drains someone's magic. But yeah, so that's what we've got as our badge of office. Right, but I am going to call it there now we've taken out our dragon. So again, if you have enjoyed this, likes, comments, subscriptions, they're all very helpful. They help get the videos and the channel up in front of everyone else. And yeah, other than that, I hope you've enjoyed coming along, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks very much. Bye.